Hey, welcome to Happy Tales of Happy Tales, the podcast where you'll hear stories of the way pubs have touched our hearts and our lives. So for the next few minutes, let everything else go and just listen and smile. I'm your host, Julie Jackson.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I am great.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, crazy. An excuse to talk dogs? You gotta be kidding me.
I know, right? Right? Okay, so let's get to it. Tell me who we're going to hear about.
So this would be my first dog as an adult. Her name was Haley. She was a pit mix that was with me till she was 16.
Wow. I had a yellow lab that lived to 16, and she was funny because she was very stubborn and independent. And that year I used to laugh and I said, I think this year she may either pass or get her driver's license.
And by the way, congrats. You got a new one.
Thank you. Yeah, she's right here. I'm not sure if she's going to come up or not. She's a hoot.
Oh, she looks gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. She's adorable. So it's kind of interesting, and she's a little dopey because she went to get spayed this morning,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they got her under anesthesia and shaved her little belly, and no one had the rescue. No one. We hadn't noticed. She's already been spayed. She had the little
Really?
scar and the tattoo.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah. So she didn't have to have the surgery, but she's still
Yeah.
like
So
they
she's
had.
got a nice belly shave.
Yes, and a little buzz because they
Yeah.
already had her under anesthesia.
Yeah. Well, at
So
least they didn't cut her for no reason.
yeah, I know. So that was good. But okay, so she lived to be 16.
She did. She was if I'd say she reshaped she shaped the course of my life a number of times.
So how so?
You want me to go into, do you want to just get right into it? You want to go into a lot
Yep.
of details or?
Whatever you want to share. Whatever you want to share. But I know you said that she was the dog that changed your life.
Yes. So I'll try not to bore you with too many of the crazy details.
Oh, I
But
won't be bored. So whatever you want to share, you
you can
share.
edit down my rambling if you need to.
Yeah, yeah, no, I
So
love it.
at the time in my life, I was, I guess, in my early 30s, and I had just gone through a bad breakup. Like this girl broke my heart, and that sent me on what I call the summer of self-destruction.
Okay.
So for a good 3 months or 4 months, maybe even more, I was not in good mental shape. And I was just a mess. I would just, this is here in New Jersey, like, in the summer, everyone has a shore house. So I had a house with a bunch of friends, and I spent night after night just getting drunk till I blacked out, and I was just really hurting. It really hit me very hard in a lot of areas of my life, but I just was not in a really good place. And then I remember after the summer, so like she broke up with me like in March or so, and after the summer of just pure, just a mess. When I got back, when the weekends started to be open now, and I'm back home, and I started getting tired of feeling like this, and the pity
Yeah.
party needed to be over, and I was trying to think of what I can do to try to get myself out of this, and I decided to volunteer at a local rescue. I always liked animals. I had been doing, I used to work at the zoo, so animals were very, very close to me. So I decided, you know what? I got to move forward. I got to do something. So I'm like, let me volunteer and hang out with animals. That sounds like it would be a good thing for me. So
Yes.
I found a local rescue and I started volunteering. And I was there for a month or so and I met a dog. There was a dog there, and every week I used to hang out, and it was a white pit bull. And I'm like, this dog is pretty cool. And I started to really I could feel my whole I felt like it was such a good thing for me,
Mhm.
just, being of service, and this dog, really touched me. I was living with a couple guys at the time, and our landlord, we lived in like a two-family house, and the landlord did not allow us to have pets. So I'm like, I love this dog. I gotta bring this dog home. So I went to him. I said, listen, is there any way you would reconsider and let us have a pet? And we were about to go on vacation. So he goes, all right, go on vacation. Let me think about it. And when you come back, I'll let you know. So on a vacation, I'm going on vacation, just thinking about this dog the whole time, wondering what's going to happen. And then we come back from vacation, and he says, "You know what? You guys are good tenants. I'll let you have a dog. Just give me an extra security deposit." So I said, "Awesome." I did that. I went in. He was adopted when I was away on vacation, and I was like, "Oh my God!" So I was like, "All right, I know I need a dog now. I'm going to find a dog exactly like that one." I went on a little quest, and I saw a dog, and then when I always say that the right dog finds you. So
Mhm.
I met a bunch of dogs that seemed cool, but then when I met the dog that would be mine, I knew in seconds that this was my dog. And I adopted her, and she helped me like come out of that and try
Yeah.
to, and just being with her changed my mindset greatly within, I think, 2 months of 3 months of adopting her. Um, I remember sitting I was getting a haircut, and the hairdresser said, well, that day she just noticed something different about me because I was in bad shape for a while. She just noticed I was different that day. And she decided all of a sudden to hit her, oh, you know what? I think I have the perfect girl for you. And she set me up on what is now my wife. And it was only because that one dog helped me out of that funk to a place where I was able to have a decent relationship. So I kind of blame her. And I was telling my wife that, when we had her, I said, hey, anything happens, if you were the dog, she has seniority. I got to take her over you. So know that going forward.
And how did she take that? Did she get it?
She understood it. Yeah, I mean, my dog was there for our first kiss. Like my dog
Oh.
took part in our first kiss, like kissing us as well. So yeah, she was an integral part of helping me heal and be in a place where I could actually, have a new relationship.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, no, it's funny you'd say that because I had Eleanor and Lily and Roscoe when Ricky and I started dating. And the very first time he came over, Eleanor came up and like put her paw on his leg and just looked at him. And I was like, okay, well, that's it. Like,
Let's book the date now.
yeah, I know, because we can't go anywhere now, but like you can't leave. So, so here we are. And here she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Lady Darcy. Hi, sweetie. So she really changed your life in a lot of ways too, though, because wasn't it your time in the shelter that kind of got you started with becoming a trainer and
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. So she changed my life by helping me heal enough to be open to another relationship, and then which led me to meet my wife. And now I have two kids, and it's amazing. I can't imagine life without any of them. Then one thing which you might not know is, so you probably know that I've written a few books.
yes, I've read
So
them.
at the time, it was on my bucket list. I was like, I wanted to write a book, and I had tried years before. I wanted to write a novel. And I had tried years before. I started two or three novels at the time, like doing like two or three chapters, and then I didn't have the motivation or anything to finish.
Mhm.
And then, so after, my wife and I were dating at the time, and I had adopted Haley, and she was in my life for, I don't know, maybe a year, maybe. All of a sudden I was inspired, and I all of a sudden knew exactly what I was going to write about. And I finished my first book, which was a novel, which was on my bucket list, in 6 months. And the main character was basically her. It's called Dog Spelled Backward, and it's kind of like even though it's got like a religious title, it's nothing to do with religion. It's just a name I thought was cool. It's about the like kind of like an end of the world story where the dog kind of leads people through this like troubled landscape, pointing out all the injustices that man has done to this planet and like guides them to like a new beginning. Um,
Wow.
so like was struggling to write this for so long until I was motivated by her.
I love that. And I did not know that because of course I've read all of your dog daycare
Yeah, this
books.
my
So,
first
yeah.
one was a novel. It was probably like probably like 7, 8 years before I wrote another book after that.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, so then after that,
So then after that, I was, I would say I've done a number of careers in my life. I think I'm on my sixth or seventh at this point or whatever. But at the time, I was a real estate appraiser. This was after, my dog's probably, I've been with Haley for probably like 6 or 7 years at this, maybe 6 years at this point. Probably seven. It's probably 6 or 7 years. Anyway, I was a real estate appraiser, and the economy basically it was 2008 where
oh,
the real estate bubble burst, and overnight I had no work. So, I used to like day after day, I used to go on these online job boards, just looking for jobs, just trying to figure out what do I want to do. I can't do this. I got to pick something different. And I had changed my career a number of times, so I was totally okay doing it again. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And I remember one day looking at these job boards, and in the corner of my eye at the bottom, I saw a thing for dog trainer. And I was like, dog trainer? I'm like, I forgot that was a job. I'm like, is it a
right.
job? I'm like, I
What a
guess it
thing.
is. And then I looked down at Haley and I said, well, you know what? We have a pretty good relationship. I see other people struggling. Maybe I can help other people have this kind of relationship and everything. So I said, I'm going to do it. And I went all in knowing nothing. And it like took off immediately. I felt like, this is what I meant to do. And yeah, it changed the rest of my life since that point because I became a dog trainer. I did that for 15 years. Now I started doing consulting. That led me to do speaking engagements and led me to write a whole bunch of other books, and also allowed me to start my new business, which is a dog daycare and boarding facility, coaching, consulting, and marketing. And it's all because that she allowed me to have the confidence to try that.
Wow. Wow. I love that and just it kills me. I feel sad for people who don't realize what a critical role they play in our lives. Like how much they can. And I always kind of laugh because I hesitate to say I rescued a dog because I said it always ends up that I am rescued by the dog.
Yeah, I mean, you see, like if I look at any of my dog training peers or anybody else, behind everybody who's has some sort of success in a dog field, there's one dog that started it all,
Hmm.
usually. One the catalyst that, kind of ignited the fire to do this.
That's very true. That's very true. Um, and a lot of people always talk about their heart dog. And of course, a lot of people, though, I mean, I know I've had more than one heart dog in my life, but when you say that, as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, yeah, I know who my catalyst was.
Yeah,
It's like I
it was the
know,
spark.
yep, yeah. And then that's kind of what led to
Yeah.
all the other rescues and
Yeah, you could all trace it back to one dog.
mhm. Yeah,
And other
yeah.
great things, you've had other great dogs and other great things happen of it, but it's like the one that kind of started you on that path. And, for me, Haley had steered my life in so many important directions that I'm not sure without that nudge or whatever, I can't imagine what I would be doing now.
Right. That's what's mind-boggling to me. And it's very helpful to me too when I hear you say how you've like changed careers and
Yeah.
here you are doing what you're passionate about and what you
Yeah. And
love.
who knows? I'm sure I'm not done. I'll change them again.
Yeah.
uh, But yeah,
Yeah.
she gave me the kind of the excitement to do that. I think whenever you want to do something and to be successful, you got to be really passionate about it. And so, I mean, I used to sit here working from home, and I used to just refer to her as my partner. Like, she's my
Yes.
silent partner in everything I did.
Oh, bless her heart. Okay, so you said she lived to be 16. So what year was that? That
So she passed away about 7 years ago.
okay. Okay. And I know you have a beagle now, right?
Yes, yes. So even though, I was blessed to have her for a long period of time, and she was towards the end, she was old for a little while. She was in good shape for a while, but the last couple of years, she was an old lady. So
Yeah.
I knew it was coming, and I knew that So I told my wife, I'm prepared for this. I've been preparing this for a long time. And then it happened. And of course, you're totally not prepared for it. And,
Right.
I was a mess, as you might expect.
Yes.
And then, but so I remember my wife was like always talking about, we got to, getting another dog and everything. And I'm like, listen, I'm going to I need some time to process this. My wife and my kids did not require that time. And 10 days after she passed away, it was just in a random events basically put this dog on my lap. And again, I always feel like the right dog finds you. And
Yes.
even though I wasn't ready, uh, my girls were ready, my wife was ready, and this little guy was ready. So even though I wasn't quite ready, but there's a part of it that maybe helped me get through it.
They're healing.
Hmm.
They're
And he was a good distraction because he was a little puppy and he was a pain in the ass. Yeah.
right. Yes, so you don't have time to think about
So I didn't
anything.
have much time. I was too busy cursing him. Yeah.
Right. Right, which makes it so worth it. But yes, in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that too, that what you say about the right dog finds you. Because I know a couple of, including our most recent edition, it, it almost seems like the least logical, practical time. And there have been a couple times that we've had pups that have joined our family, and it seems like the dumbest time to do that. But it's like, but you just know there's something about that pup. There's something, and like you said, they find you, and you just know that that's
Well,
um,
I'll tell you a funny story and how we ended up with him is that so it's 10 days after my last dog passed away. I'm still a mess. And I have if you go back, there's a podcast I did about losing your dog from my dog training podcast, which is Fern Dog Podcast. And there's an episode I did about losing your dog, which is me at what I thought was enough time to talk about it. And I sobbed in the middle of the podcast because that's how it happens. So it's 10 days after, and it's my daughter's birthday. I have twins, and their birthday is coming up in like a week or so. And so what happened is I'm home and I get a text so I used to be involved in rescue, and the adoption coordinator at the rescue I used to be a part of texted me, and she knows everything that happened that went on with me, with my dog and everything. Texted me and goes, "Hey, Fern, um, do you know anybody who wants a 10-week-old beagle puppy? I just thought I'd ask you before I post him online and get a million applications for him." And I know because she knows when I was a kid, when I was four, not when I was four, when I was like 7 or 8, my first dog was a beagle. I had him for like a month before my wife lost her mind my mom lost her mind and had to get rid of him. But so she knew that because I talked about it online or something. So I knew that text was really for me, not do I know anybody. And so my wife,
right.
within a week of my dog passing, my wife is sending me like pet finder links, and they're all like hound puppies. And I'm like, listen, I'm not ready yet. And even if I was, there's no way in hell I would do a puppy or a hound. That's like the biggest challenges in the world. There's no way I would do that. So she sends
They
me this
are the
little,
perfect storm.
yeah, I was totally against it. And that's what she wanted. So I get this little video of this little puppy, and I go back and forth. Should I show my wife? Should I not show my wife? I stupidly show her it. And of course, she's like, oh, you go. But then she says, listen, we both know you're doing all the work. So this is really your decision. She's like, you know my feelings, but you got to do what's right. I know you're going to do all the work and it's going to be on you. So you decide. So I said, all right, let me think about it. So I put the phone down and I went downstairs and I'm cleaning up. We have this like trunk where we just have junk. So I'm cleaning off this trunk a little bit. And like a month before, sorry, this is a long story.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's
So
great. I love it.
a month before we took my twins shopping for their birthday decorations because we're having a little birthday party. So we took them out and we're buying decorations, and they were in the store. There was these little like buttons that you pin on them, and we let the girls pick out a button that they would wear for their party. My one daughter picked out this pink "I'm a princess" button. My other daughter, Jada, picked out one with a little puppy on it. And as I'm
Of
going here,
course.
as I'm cleaning up, I find that button, and it is the exact picture of that dog. I mean, and because as a like beagles come in different sizes and coloring, he was like all dark in the face. This beagle looked exactly like him on this button. I remember just picking up the button, going, ah, crap, that's our dog.
You're like, okay, this is like prophetic.
Yeah, I was like, all right, I guess we're getting him. Like, it's obviously out of my hands.
Yeah, the button said so.
Yep, so we got
She
him.
picked the I love that. I love that. I know. It's great though when you kind of like there's signs, where you go, yeah,
Yeah, like,
yeah.
and I say, like, he found us, and I believe he was meant for us, and he was a. So I've been a dog trainer for 15 years. I've worked with a lot of dogs. He was the most challenging puppy I've ever had to deal with in my life, easily. He was really, I wanted to give him away every day. I regretted my decision every day in the beginning, but I put in the work. I worked with him, and um, he became one of the best dogs I've ever encountered.
Mhm.
He started out so bad, and he's ended up so good. Um, so I think I think it just shows that if you just give them to give them what they need, it's amazing what they can do.
So true. So for people who are sometimes like in that point of I can't do this anymore and they're wringing their hands, how long was that period with him where you were like, that's it, I'm sending you out to the curb?
So it was so I got him at 10 weeks. It was probably till about maybe a year, maybe the year
Hmm.
mark. And I usually tell people, in my experience as a trainer, is like between a year and 2 years of age is what I call the teenage period. It's when they're adolescents, and that's when everything goes a little sideways. Where it's because when they become punk teenagers and they forget stuff you taught them, they push their envelope. So I was bracing myself because I'm like, this guy was a horrendous puppy. I can't imagine what he's going to be like as a teenager. So I was bracing myself, but I think it's because I did so much work with him and I had such a strong foundation. He was a dream as a teenager. So
Oh.
and my kid, and like I said, I did, and so the reason I got him was because somebody probably paid a whole bunch of money for him, had him for 2 weeks. He was insane, and they said, I can't take this, and they just gave him to a rescue and said, you do whatever you want with him. I just don't want to see this dog again. And I inherited that same annoying puppy, and I just put in the time with him. And I always say, I wish I could find that person who gave up on him and say, hey, look what you could have had if you just would have stuck it out, if you just would have
Yeah.
done what you needed to do. I just look at my kids, they're going to be 15 this month. When they were little, I tried to sell them on eBay multiple times. And but I'm glad nobody took me up on it. It was they were a pain in the butt, but you put in the work, you get through it, and you're rewarded for the rest of their lives.
You had plenty of bids, they just didn't want to pay the shipping.
No, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the problem. Now I know that. Always include shipping.
Oh, right. Yeah. If you had had free shipping, you would have been an empty
I
nester
would,
this
yeah,
whole
it
time.
would have been a done deal. Yeah, and we all learn from our mistakes, though.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I love it.
No,
I appreciate it.
thanks for hearing me out.
Yes. Well, and of course, anytime you have stories you want to share, I love hearing them. And it's, you can't help but smile when you hear.
Well, you know what? The one thing I say about dogs is that I feel really sorry for people that are not dog people because never anywhere on this planet will you find a relationship like that with any other person or species of animal anywhere. There's nothing like that relationship you'll have with a dog. And it's just something so rewarding. And they can give us something that nobody else can. So it's always cool to have and to share. So this is awesome that you're doing this, that you have this forum where we can share these great stories and get excited to just live our lives around animals.
And celebrate them. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And you'll be hearing from me again soon, I'm sure. And hopefully, I'll see you in a week.
Yes, 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 yes. I'm excited.
Yeah, I know. I know. I can't wait. I can't wait. Well, thank you so much. And go hug your pup and your families, too. But
I will. I locked him out back there, so he's probably sitting on the other side of that door.
like, what are you doing? I always just have to leave the door open because if I don't, like, they'll
Yeah, they'll make it.
A-
They'll make a move.
yes, a riot will ensue, and so I just leave it, and we'll have guest appearances
Yep,
sometimes.
that's
So
the beauty of it. That's a
yeah,
bonus.
yeah. Well, y'all have a great night.
Uh,
Thank you so much for joining me today. I know that you are busy, and I really appreciate that you chose to spend some of your time with me. So let's do a little bit of bookkeeping before we head out. If you enjoy this and you would like to receive the episodes automatically without having to seek them out, then in your podcatcher, follow or subscribe. And that way, every time an episode drops, it'll show up for you and you'll know that it's there. Makes it super easy. You don't have to think about it. Please go visit the website. It's really cute. It's got puppy pictures. Also, I've got a free gift for you over there if you will go check it out. And if you would like to message me, if you have any suggestions, specific pup stories you want to hear, or even better, if you want to share a story, you can message me right there from the website. That's the best way to get to me for that. Check us out on all the different socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of them. That's where you'll see pictures of the pups that we talk about each week. Also just other fun pup things. I'm going to put episodes on YouTube as well. Sometimes the episodes are recorded via Zoom, and so there's video. A lot of times it's just us talking, but every now and then there are some fun cameos from puppies or there's shenanigans in the background, and you can catch all that on YouTube. If you want to help me out, if you would leave a positive review and share the podcast, that would be fantastic. I would be really grateful. And once again, if you want to help me out, I would love to share your story. So please hit me up and let's schedule a time that we can talk. Some people have shared their stories in writing. Some people have gotten on the phone and done a chat with me. So we can do whatever you are most comfortable with. Finally, do not forget that you are as great as your dog thinks you are, and go smooch your pooch. Thanks, y'all.